apparently, if you slip a random chef in Lyon 10 grand, they'll show you where French people actually eat. Not the places tourists go, the secret spots, the real ones. And spoiler, none of them are on Pinterest. Honestly, it might ruin the Paris trip you've been planning for 6 months. Before we start though, let's get something straight. You don't know France. You think you know France, but you really don't. Let me show you the version of this country that isn't performing for anyone. Paris pulls in around 25 million tourists every single year. And somehow, at the exact same time, there's a full-on fortress city in the south that barely shows up on Google Maps. There's a coastline where people speak a Celtic language that makes French sound like baby talk. And there's a medieval town so untouched, you feel like you're trespassing. These are the places in France that don't care how many followers you have. And that's exactly why they're better. Let's start with Rouen. Yeah, the place where they burned Joan of Arc alive. Great start, I know. But the reason you should care isn't the history, it's the vibe. Rouen looks like someone built a medieval theme park and then just left it exactly as it was 600 years ago. The half-timbered houses? Real, not props. The cathedral? So massive Monet painted it again and again trying to understand it. Different lighting, different moods. And the funny part? He never really captured it. Some things are almost too real for art. But Rouen has this weird, slightly chaotic energy that sneaks up on you. Like the duck situation. Pressed duck. As in, they cook the duck, then literally squeeze the carcass to extract its blood and make a sauce. It's medieval. It's intense. And only a handful of restaurants in France still do it because apparently everyone else got squeamish. Rouen didn't. Rouen looked at modernity and said, "No thanks, I'm good. Now go north. Lille." Most tourists stop at Paris like France just ends there. But keep going. Keep going until you're almost in Belgium. That's Lille. Instantly, everything changes. The architecture goes Flemish, the food gets heavier, the vibe gets louder. Lille is a college town on espresso. At night, the whole city turns into this electric swarm of students, beer, music, and noise. And the beer culture? Serious. Very serious. The way Parisians debate wine vintages, people in Lille debate breweries. Then there are the fries. Double fried, crispy shells, soft centers, served with mayo. Ask for ketchup and someone will absolutely judge you. Good. You deserve it. But Lille is just the warm-up. Because now we head to the Jura Mountains. The Jura looks like Switzerland's twin. If the twin was more chill, less expensive, and allergic to tourists. Mountain lakes like mirrors. Forests that feel prehistoric. And the cheese. Comte, real Comte, made in tiny villages by families who've been doing it for hundreds of years. There's this moment people talk about where someone sat in a tiny cheese shop for 2 hours. Didn't speak French. The cheesemaker didn't speak English. They just communicated through cheese samples. And honestly, that's the Jura. Pure, simple, unfiltered. And the wine, Vin jaune, aged under a yeast layer for 6 years. Nutty, powerful, almost emotional. Locals pair it with Comte and act like it's completely normal. From mountain isolation to something totally different, Ile de Ré. This is where French people vacation. Tiny whitewashed villages, blue shutters, flowers growing out of every corner like the island hired a full-time set designer. Cars? Forget it. You bike everywhere. Long flat paths past salt marshes, where people have been harvesting fancy artisan salt since forever. Then the oysters hit you. Not literally, but emotionally. Oysters so fresh, they make every other oyster you've ever had taste like a sad, wet rock. Someone once ate 47 oysters here in one sitting. Honestly, respect. If all that chill island energy feels too peaceful, let's go underground. Rems and Epernay, champagne country. But not the Instagram champagne, the real champagne. You walk down into these ancient chalk cellars, crieras, that feel like underground temples. Miles and miles of tunnels carved out by hand, bottles stacked like sleeping soldiers. Most tourists run to Moët or Veuve. Don't. Find the tiny family-run growers. They make a few thousand bottles a year, no marketing, no influencers. Just grapes and stubborn tradition. One woman poured a glass and said, "This is the rain, this is the sun, this is our family." And it was the best champagne anyone had ever tasted, for a third of the price. Now we go south, and brighter, much brighter. Collioure, little port town near Spain. And yes, this is where Matisse basically invented Fauvism. The light here is unreal. Buildings explode with color. The sea looks digitally enhanced, which it isn't. And the anchovies. Yes, anchovies. I know. You think you hate them. Collioure will convert you. They're delicate, sweet, salty, pure umami. Paired with banyuls, a sweet fortified wine, it makes zero sense and tastes incredible. Then, nature gets dramatic. The Ardèche Gorges. Not cute nature. Nature that reminds you who's in charge. Limestone cliffs shooting up like stone skyscrapers. Canoeing under a natural stone arch that looks photoshopped even in person. Water so cold it might rearrange your DNA. And then Grotte Chauvet, the cave paintings. 36,000 years old. The original is sealed off, but the replica is so perfectly done it feels like time travel. Horses, lions, rhinos drawn by humans who lived through the Ice Age. You walk out feeling very small, and maybe a little stupid about every argument you've ever had online. Now we hit Albi, the Red City. Everything is brick. And in the middle, this cathedral that looks like a fortress decided to cosplay as a church. It was literally built to intimidate, and it still works. Inside, every inch is painted. Demons, angels, judgment scenes. It's overwhelming. Then you step into the Toulouse-Lautrec Museum, and suddenly, it's quiet. You see the fragile, brilliant, sad humanity behind the guy who made the Moulin Rouge posters. People sit in front of one painting for 20 minutes, just breathing. Then the western edge of France. Finistère, Land's End. Waves slam the cliffs so hard you feel it in your chest. Fog rolls in without warning. Wind that never stops. It's Celtic France. People speak Breton, a language older than French. And locals? Reserved. But if they decide you're cool, you're part of the family. Fest-nas, night festivals. Everyone dances in circles. Old ladies drag tourists into the dance like it's a rescue mission. You mess up the steps, nobody cares. The food fits the landscape. Galette saucisse, simple, perfect. Couine amande, basically 50% butter, 50% sugar, 100% life-changing. Finistère is harsh, gray, sometimes sad-looking. But it's raw, real, unforgettable beauty. And then, Lyon. Back to Mark, the 10 grand chef. He took us into the real Lyon, not the touristy parts, the parts that feel like the city's heartbeat. Lyon doesn't brag about being the gastronomic capital of France. It just is. You walk into a bouchon, tiny, loud, family-run. Food that's dense, creamy, unapologetic. Pike quenelles swimming in sauce. Saucisson that tastes like it was invented to fix your whole life. Cheese dips that sound boring, but hit like a revelation. Mark said, in Paris they cook to impress. In Lyon, we cook to live. And that was it. That's the whole philosophy of the city. Lyon feels lived in, not polished, not curated, alive, traboules, hidden passageways, cut through entire blocks. You feel like you're slipping through time. Then, Les Halles Paul Bocuse, a food market where every vendor is an artist. A cheesemaker hands you Saint-Marcellin so soft it barely holds its shape. This is 3 weeks old, he says. Next week, it will be different. And that's Lyon. Nothing is static. Everything is evolving. I've been to 47 countries. And somehow, Lyon is the city that finally explained what travel is really supposed to feel like. Because travel isn't a checklist. It's not about seeing how many stamps you can force into a passport, or how many hidden gems you can brag about online. It's about those rare places that slow you down and make you notice parts of yourself you didn't even know were missing. Lyon does that. Quietly, effortlessly. It's not a city that performs for you. It's a city that lets you in only if you're paying attention. Maybe it's the way mornings smell like fresh bread from a bakery you'll never find again. Maybe it's how the old town seems to fold time in half. You're here, but also somewhere centuries ago. Or maybe it's how, without warning, you start to feel at home in a place you hadn't even planned to stay this long. And France? Real France. Not the version you see on Instagram, not the overcrowded landmarks everyone pretends to enjoy, but the everyday France that lives between the postcards. The tiny bistros where the menu isn't translated because it was never meant for you. The conversations you overhear that make you wish you spoke fluent French. The side streets that feel like they've been waiting for you, not to impress you, but to show you something true. These are the places tourists never find. And honestly, they don't care if you find them. They don't need you. They've existed long before you arrived, and they'll exist long after you leave. But you might need them more than you realize. Because every once in a while, you stumble into a city that doesn't just fill your camera roll. It fills something deeper, something quieter, something you forgot you were looking for. If this hit differently, subscribe. Because we're doing this for 10 more countries. And the next one, The next one is going to break your brain even harder. Not because it's beautiful, but because it's going to change what you think travel even means. Let's go.